Good afternoon. It's Thursday. This is Bruce Leonard Leans Left while it's still legal. Still legal today, I believe. President's out of the country, so. Of course, everything's legal now. He's gone. As soon as he comes back, oh, locked down again. Now, I just want you to take 1 second to imagine a world where Barack Obama has a crypto slush fund where anybody can buy his coins for millions and millions of dollars, and then attend a dinner with Barack Obama himself where reporters aren't allowed. And imagine a world where Barack Obama goes over to the Middle East and he's hanging out with Qatar, and they make a deal for him to build a golf course there. And they say they're going to give him a $500 million Flying Palace private jet. Picture a world where Barack Obama goes to Saudi Arabia and kisses the ass of a guy who's a murderer, a known murderer. Not to mention, like I said, Qatar's support for Hamas and Hezbollah. Now, whether or not you agree politically with Hamas, you would have to assume the political stance that the United States has taken. That they always say that's why Iran is evil, right? Because they support Hamas and Hezbollah. So what's the difference between Qatar and Iran in this situation? Would be my question. And anyway, that's irrelevant. I mean, it's not irrelevant. We'll get back to that. But imagine a world where Barack Obama was doing all these things and what the coverage would be like on Fox News. People's heads would be exploding on Fox News right now. And if Barack Obama had tanked the economy with this stupid fucking tariff plan, then when they had nothing to say, they started talking about what kind of mustard he ate and his brown suit that he had on. But you turn on the Fox News today, and it's all good. Trump is over there. He's being a real leader and president, and he's making all these deals, and he's a master deal maker. It's unbelievable. What they would be saying if it was, like I said, if it was Barack Obama who was doing all these things, or Joe Biden. All that time they ran around, trying to prove that Joe Biden did some shit with Ukraine, and then Hunter Biden's laptop this and Hunter Biden's laptop that. What they're doing right now, right out in the open, with the full support of the Republicans in Congress as well. Just selling off whatever they can. They're taking money here and there and everywhere. Breaking the Constitution at will. It's mind blowing where we're at right now. It is. It really is. I can't wrap my head around it. How fucked up it is. And that it's just being accepted, like it's just totally normal. Oh, this is perfectly normal. I don't know if you heard this, but today planes were coming into Denver. They've been having a lot of trouble with Newark Airport. Now it's Denver. They went to Denver. And pilot lost communication with the tower on the way in. Yeah, they couldn't talk to each other. And he's out there trying to blame Joe Biden. Look, they went in. I don't know what's going on here. That's the strategy, I said, and that's what. So the FAA is falling apart, but that's Joe Biden's fault. It's like all of the decisions that have been going. No, it's here too. That it's here too. There's something going on with the internet because the connection now it's green. It was red and fucking it's bad. It's fluctuating. I don't know what's going on with it. Anyway, I guess we're just gonna pretend like these dumbass decisions that they've made are that there's no consequence whatsoever for them. Like, you know, and whatever happens is Joe Biden's fault. And I guess that's the story we're going with. Because that seems to me the way that it's being perceived if you watch these. And then you turn on the other channels and like CNN's talk about how Joe Biden's age. Like people are locked in a supermax prison. Most of them illegally. A man is there who is ordered by the Supreme Court 9-0 to bring him back, and they haven't brought him back still. The president, like I said, has a secret crypto slush fund that anybody can give hundreds of millions of dollars to, and you don't know who gave the money, but the people who gave the money can go to a special dinner with the president of the United States. Sans reporters. No press. He can lick the nuts of terrorists and terrorist supporters and murderers, known murderers, and take their money and nobody says nothing. We're talking about Joe Biden's age. And it's like, now, am I saying that that's not a story? It is a story. But is it that important at this second? The media, the actual media, doesn't give two fucks. They're just trying to survive right now and make money however they can. They don't give two fucks about me or you or the country. If Trump succeeds in get rid of democracy or whatever, they'll just roll right along with it. They'll just continue to let him say whatever he wants to say with unchallenged and lie with impunity. And go off on random tirades like a fucking old man in a nursing home about something that makes no sense whatsoever. And they just sit there. And people go, he's the greatest president I ever seen. Because the unfortunate reality is, my friends, like I said, we're surrounded by a lot of stupid fucking people. And that's just a fact. There's more of them than there are of us. And they finally got control. And they got their hands on the wheel. It goes all the way up to the top. I mean, I'm not disparaging the average person. All the way to the top. You can't not listen to Donald Trump speak and go, what the fuck? How did we, like I said before, let's take Ron DeSantis for example, right? Ron DeSantis is an asshole and a fascist. He's everything that Trump is, right? But he's also a politician that knows how to talk, and he's much more coherent than Trump. But yet they chose Trump and not him. Um, yeah, Julia says all the regular mega voters who are expressing regret don't understand that his ramblings and promises at his rallies were for his wealthy donors, not the everyman. Yeah, well, I don't even think it's that. Like I said he said all the things. He was like, I'm going to lower the prices of the groceries and this and that and the other. He don't give two fucks about that now. The truth is, he never did. The man lies constantly. He'll just say whatever he thinks he needs to say to get out of that situation. He's like a 5-year-old, like I said. Like he's like a 5-year-old that when you walk into the room and he crayoned up all the walls, and then you go, "Did you just fucking do this?" And he goes, "No," and he's holding the crayons. No, I didn't do it. Some magical fairy came through the window and he did it, and then he gave me the markers and flew away. And the reporters go, "Oh, interesting." It's up, but no, that's exactly how it goes in real life. And I said it's like a bad Monty Python movie, or but it's real, you know. It's like today. The birthright citizenship is the reason why the case is there. But the case they're arguing right now isn't really about the birthright citizenship thing. It's about, can a district court block him from implementing this nationwide, right? Because they don't like injunctions, nationwide injunctions. So I guess what they wanted is, so if you wanted to block something nationwide, you'd have to go to every single district court in the country and win at all of them. But here's the problem with the entire premise. Now you're talking about, let's say the president makes an unlawful, unconstitutional order, right? And they take it to a district judge, and the district judge says this is unconstitutional, which is what has happened several times already. That's why they're in the court. So their premise is that the judge can only block it there, and then their illegal action would be allowed to continue legally everywhere else until you stop them. And some places are going to have judges that maybe don't rule the same way. So a law that's only enforced in certain places, it's an incomprehensible legal argument, legal premise. That's a chaos. You can't have that. But that's what they would create if they. And the Supreme Court, you never know what they're gonna fucking do now. But the entire premise itself is, and then he said in a court, one of the judges asked him how they plan to enforce this birthright citizenship order, and he said he didn't even know they didn't even have a plan. He totally admitted it right in the Supreme Court. They have no idea how to do this, but you gotta let them do it. Now, let's take not even consideration that the I don't forget what it is. It's the 14th Amendment. Birthright citizenship is written into the Constitution. It's an amendment of the Constitution. It was passed, ratified by Congress, and ratified by 3/4 states, like it needs to be. And it's a constitutional amendment. It's part of the Constitution. You can't just will it away because you're the president. But see, that's what they want to do. Never let these people who always told you how much they love the Constitution ever tell you that again, because they don't care about the Constitution, because if they did, they wouldn't be breaking it every 5 seconds, Birthright citizenship is written in the Constitution. Now they're trying to say, oh, it's about slaves. They only wanted slaves. They didn't know about it. It's like, no, it's very plain. Anyone who's born on the soil of the United States is a United States citizen. And then Trump said that no other countries have birthright citizenship. That's bullshit, because Kobe Bryant was born in Italy on a military base, or, his dad was in the military. So he was born in Italy, and so his whole life he was a dual citizen. He was a citizen of Italy, and he was a citizen of the United States. Why? Because Italy has birthright citizenship. Constantly. You can't believe anything he says ever. And the fact that he's the president of the United States and he just stands up there and spews complete nonsense and malicious bullshit a lot of the times, and just plain bullshit, lies. Like today, he's like, oh, the prices are coming down, and Walmart is raising prices because of tariffs. That's a fact when you go to the store. So it doesn't matter what Donald Trump says, does it? Because he's full of shit. People believe what he said. Like, do you think that these other countries, for 1 second, do you believe that these other countries believe that what Donald Trump says, and that Donald Trump might not just change his fucking mind tomorrow, about whatever he said today? Like, he's not. They just greased his palm, and he's going to go somewhere else, and somebody else is going to grease his palm, and then he's going to shit on them, or, or whatever, because that's how the guy works. You think that Donald Trump's loyal? He's going to be loyal? Like, if you see what he does to the people that work for him, how many bodies there are in his wake of people. Well, I shouldn't even say that, though, because in today's media environment, like, let's take a guy like Scaramucci, right? Scaramucci was Trump's press secretary or whatever for like a week. And then he got fired. And you would think, oh, that guy's career is over. Like, no, it isn't, because they just go on the news now. He's a commentator on the MSNBC, or, they go on whatever network pays him. So it's not like now he's a star, a news media star or whatever. And I'm sure he has a podcast and a fucking, I know he has a Twitter and shit because I follow it. Speaking of Twitter, man, I've almost, I said a while back that I was going to delete my account, but I haven't done it because I like to go on there and see what they're saying, or to go in there and tell JD Vance or somebody to fuck themselves. That's really all I ever use it for. But in the last week or so, I've been like, man, I really just need to just delete this, because when you go on the Twitter, it's the most darkly horrible thing you've ever seen. It's terrible. All the nutcases are there. It's like QAnon Central now, and everybody's streaming and saying all kinds of crazy shit, and it's like, dude, I can't fucking stomach watching this shit anymore. And even the my mom had Fox News on, and I was just, after about 10 minutes, I was like, man, my head's starting to hurt. I need to get away from this. It's like, and she doesn't understand. She thinks it's, it's valuable in some way. And you're like, it's not valuable in any way. It's complete bullshit. It's a fantasy world that they're selling you. Like when when the stock market tanks and they take the thing off the air, when the it's like it's not a news channel. They're there to sell you the vision that the right wing vision is the way to go. They're not there to tell you an objective news story. They haven't even started to hide it now. Their headlines and shit. They're just fucking. It's not news at all. It's propaganda. And people say, "Oh, you don't see it is just Democrat propaganda." Well, at least those sources try to use facts. See, that's the problem. It's always been the problem. That's why the right wing wanted to destroy the media, which they've done a pretty good job of doing. But ever since Nixon, the right wing got together and they said, "Hey, as long as the news can tell the truth, with impunity, we're gonna be in trouble." So what we need to do is sow doubt in the real truth, so that people think, well, maybe the truth isn't the truth, And that's what all this is. The deep state, the fucking, the fraud and corruption. The truth is, there wasn't that much fraud and corruption. I mean, there's always fraud and corruption. That's the other reason why they're able to sell it, is because it's partially true. There's always corruption in human enterprises because human beings are shitty. I think we've been over this too. Human beings suck. For the most part. Look at ourselves. Look at society over the years. What is this? A bunch of warring and killing and shitting on other people and taking over their fucking shit. And this is worldwide. It's not just here. I said, same as, they go, "Oh, it was so bad here." Yeah, it was bad here, but same as in Asia. I said, the Japanese went across and invaded invaded Korea, trying to get to China, and they fucking killed a bunch of people, and they hate each other for it. It's the human story. It doesn't matter where it occurs. You look at Europe, and they've been fighting each other for fucking 1,000 years. There's the Prussian War and the fucking Napoleonic Wars and the Crusades. It's like human beings are shit. We have, like I said, we have a million times, and it's always been the case because as we progress, it's like, yeah, we have all this shit around us that smart people have made, but those people are the minority. That you give them a beer and turn on the Masked Singer and they sit there. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. It's like they take the mask off. Ah! That's what it is. Julia says, if we get our democracy back, one of the first things we should get done is get big money out of politics. Wait, you're getting ahead of ourselves because we're having this discussion on Saturday with Daniele, and I've been thinking about this because he told me to think about it like a homework assignment or something. So I have some things that I know we need to do, but I'm not going to do that right now because we're going to do that on Saturday. So I'm sorry. I can't have that discussion right now. But that's the truth. Like I said, we're not that great, and we're just regressing back to our, if you can't see what's going on right now, like we've done this twice, we're about to do it a third time, I believe. I mean, the world is unraveling all around, And who knows what's going to happen? Trump's up there talking about, well, we're going to want to do step 2 to Iran, which is bombing the shit out of them, We're about to go. It's going to be bad, Lindsay. I don't know what to tell you. And I said, for those of you who have children, I feel for you. Because it's not your fault that the world sucks, but this is a bad time to bring him in. It's a bad time to bring him in. No, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but like I said, there's hot spots everywhere. I don't know if you're paying attention. It's like the fucking India, Pakistan's fighting, and what's going on in Gaza, the Ukraine war, and the Chinese are, driving boats in circles around Taiwan and running into their boats and shit. Like they're gonna make that move soon, take Taiwan back, and I guess then we'll see what Donald Trump's really made of. Because if you ask me, he's mostly bluster and bullshit. And most of what has happened has proved that out. He talks a big game. He says he's going to do a lot of shit, and then he don't do it. And at the last second, he backs down. So if you think that they're scared of him, now he might have been scared of him in the beginning because he is crazy, this guy's crazy, but he's also a coward deep inside. He's not a big man. He's not a strong man like Putin and Z and all these other guys, even Zelensky. He's not in any of those guys' league, man. He's a Bush League, carnival barking reality TV show host who's made a living fucking talking shit. I mean, he hasn't really ever done anything. When push comes to shove, he's going to back down. He's already done it. He backs down and fights and he starts. He starts a fight and then he backs up. He's like, you really going to throw a punch? Nope. He's that guy that you always saw when he was like, throw the first punch. Throw the first punch. You want to fight, man? Throw the first punch. Like this guy don't want to fight. This guy wants to fight you, he'll hit you in the face. It's like a real guy, like those guys are cowards with big mouths. And a lot of times it works because the average person doesn't want to fight. So then he can walk away with face and say, well, he didn't throw no punch, so we didn't fight, but I fucking stood up to him, There's always a guy like that around, running his mouth, trying to bully somebody, And most of the time, I said, you just punch that guy right in the fucking face, and he goes away. I promise you that. When you come on him, what do they call it? With great fury, righteous fury, and furious anger. Strike down upon you. And those guys run away. But like I said, Trump's the same way. Like, look at this tariff thing, right? He's like, we're putting tariffs on every single country in the world, which is insane to begin with. And then he says, on China especially, but it's going to be, what do you say, 75% or something? And then they were like, all right, well, we're going to put a tariff on you. And then he was like, 175. And then he goes, all right, but call it off for 90 days. That was in the beginning. And it was supposed to come back on again, right? And he goes, well, we'll take it down to 80%, or something like that. And then it's like, okay, the 80% tariff is about to kick in. And then he's like, all right, now another 90 days. Like, he's not going to really do it. I don't think. He's never really going to do what he says he's going to do. He's 80%. He's all right. It's back to, I think it's back to like 10% or some, or no, what did they say it was? 30%. it's like he started this thing, right? I don't think that he realized it, how much he doesn't really understand how anything works. He just had this grand scheme, like, oh, let's make tariffs and that'll bring in a lot of money. It's like, yeah, but not as much as you're gonna lose everywhere else. Like it's a bad plan. But once he did it, see, this is the thing. He wanted to do this before. And there were smart people that were in the government. And he picked like normal people to be in his government at that time. They were Republicans, but they were still normal. They weren't mega fucking crazy. They were regular people. And they were like, hey man, you can't do this. Like, no, this is not happening. Like, you're gonna destroy everything. And then he was like, oh, what? You're fired. And that went on for 4 years. So he wasn't able to do any of this crazy shit. So for the last 4 years, what he did was he systematically got rid of all those people. And he filled up his people around him with only drooling, pathetic, nutlickers that crawl around behind him on their knees. And he says, when I get elected this time, I'm only going to have these people, right? And then he got elected, which is insane to begin with. But here we are. And he stacked his cabinet and the Justice Department and all these people with these people who are pathetic, drooling nutlickers who will even let him break the Constitution, and I said, become a dictator because they worship him. It's a cult. Well, anyway, so now there was nobody to tell him this is an insane plan. As a matter of fact, they helped him concoct this plan by making up that bullshit equation that, however they came up with those numbers, and it's a ridiculous equation. And, it's not even, I've not seen one economist. Now, there might be one. But I've not seen one economist that looked at that equation they used to come up with that number and was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like, it's completely insane. And as well as putting tariffs on every country in the world, including, uninhabited islands with only penguins on them. Which is a real fact. Again, you would be like, this is a bad movie. It's not. It's real life. This is a true story. It's like, there's no fucking way. This is our country. We live. It's like, I've been thinking about this, man. I have been thinking about this. It's like I said. It's like, what do you do when you've only lived in, this is your country. You're supposed to be patriotic, love your country. You're supposed to. Well, what do you do when you're like, I can't love this country. I don't support hardly anything it does at this point. It does not speak for me. And what do you do? What do you do then? You go, I'll just leave. It's not that simple, man. It's also your country. Like, this is my country. And for a long time, I thought it was a decent enough place. I guess I thought that we were evolving and we really had good intentions, but these past few months have shown me that I'm not sure we do. I really think, like I said before, I'm at the point where I wish they would just split the country. Let them have their, whatever. Now, where are you going to split it? I don't know. A lot of people have to move, I guess, but it's not as easy as just say like, oh, you just split it up. It's like, or you just break up the union and let every state become its own country, like Europe. I watch a lot of these red states go right into fucking shitter. That's what they would do. Julia says, what worries me is if they do away with birthright citizenship, they'll immediately go after dissenters, independent media, and even us individuals. Sure. Sure. I thought about it when I started this show. It's like, you put yourself on the radar here. Now, like I said, not a lot of people watching at this point, but if people do watch, I mean, the point of it was to talk and hope that people would listen. But I'm putting a target on your back, like they stopped Hassan Piker and they interrogated him for several hours, he said. Of course, he could have, he talked to him. He could have just said, I want to see a lawyer, and I'm not saying anything. You don't have to talk to him. He wound up talking to him for a while. But either way, the very fact that they would just pick him up, it's like, it could happen to anybody. I said, you definitely putting the target on your back if you choose to speak out. But I don't, like I said before, I don't believe that there's a choice. Like David Frum was saying that earlier when I was watching. He was like, well, we all have our little buckets, and we got to fill them up. It's the only way. The more voices that you have out there, that, But at a certain point, like I said, I'm like, I'm not sure if this country, if I share the same values as these people. I just don't. Right now in Georgia, you know this? There's a woman who's brain dead. She was 9 weeks pregnant, and she became brain dead. And they're forcing them to keep her alive on machines so she can have this baby. Against the wishes of the family, I guess. The family wanted to shut off the machines. Or it wouldn't be a story. So the government stepped in because of their abortion laws and said that they had to keep her alive because she's pregnant, because that baby has the right to... Not to be like, who's going to take care of this baby? The mom's dead. And why is the government telling this family what they can and can't do with their daughter? This is America. Like I said, it's not the America that I thought it was or grew up in. This is a very, very different place, and becoming more and more different every single day. And the direction it is going is way more radical and extreme. Dude, I don't know if you saw this. RFK was in front of the Congress, and he said himself, he said, I don't think you should listen to me for medical advice. It's like, dude, you're in charge of the you're in charge of the health. This is why you should have this job. What's your job? To dispense medical advice, but don't listen to me. Yeah, Julie says, as soon as the baby's born, it won't give a fuck. Yeah, exactly. They'll cut her off the food stamps or whoever it's got to take care of this baby that they may have. It's all feelings and culture war bullshit. There's no ideas of how to do anything except for cut taxes for rich people so that they can make more money, and cut poor people's programs. I never have understood how any people could look at what they are doing, what they do, and think for 1 second that they're doing that for you. They care about you. I mean, all the things that Trump has done, the Doge. See, that's what I mean about the right wing sphere. The deep state was designed to make you not trust the government or like the government, because really they've always wanted to destroy it. I've said this before on the show, and I'll say it again. These people are the leftovers of the Confederacy, and they believe that the federal government fucked them over and impeded them in their ability to have a good white Christian, America, which is what they believe America is. If you think for 1 second, and I don't want to hear it ever again, that they say, oh, these people aren't racist. They're not. What do you mean they're not racist? They're kicking out Afghanis who helped us fight in the war and sending them back to Afghanistan where they'll probably be killed. While they're telling the white people from South Africa, come on in and we'll pay for everything. At least you're here, Questo. Thank you for arriving. Late as you might be. But yeah, it's unbelievable. And again, if you told somebody this, they would say, this is some ridiculous bullshit. There's no fucking way this is true. No, it's true. It's based on a true story. Like I said, it's gone off the rails so hard in just this fast. 3 months? What? 5 months now. We got 3.5 more years of this. Theoretically. Another year and a few months before the midterms, so maybe they can get the Congress back. And if they get the Congress back, at least they can buck back some. But he's going to be there, and they've already destroyed, like I said, who knows what's going to happen with the federal, the FAA. What I don't understand is, how come Elon Musk isn't at the FAA saying he's going to fix all this shit? Isn't he like a tech genius? Wasn't he the one who fucking made all the cuts? You mean, what is going on here? In the meantime, you're just flying. I mean, if you fly now, you're taking you're taking your life in your hands, man. And I'm speaking to that as somebody who's flown a lot. I'm hesitant to fly now. That's for sure. I think I was getting in the car. And I've driven across the country numerous times. And I guess I'll do it again, because I am not getting a plane. I'm going to be like John Madden. Like, I'll never get in a plane again. I'll get on a bus before I fucking... As long as these people are running it. What do you mean? Not sure you'd be able to survive. Oh, just the fucking stress of it all. That's what my mom was like. You need to stop looking at all this stuff. I'm like, what do you mean? I come home, you got the Fox News on. What the fuck you trying to tell me? Like, I even look at it. I ain't got no choice. It's like some weird, like Clockwork Orange, where they like make you watch. They just clamp me in a chair, turn on Jesse Waters or Laura Ingraham. Oh my God, I can't even listen to her talk. I'm Laura Ingraham, and everything sucks. None of these people are happy. They're miserable fucks. Like, all of them, almost all of them. It was hilarious. And they're also fucking arrogant. Greg Gutfeld was like, what did he say? He's like, here's my advice for Democrats. It's like, nobody wants your fucking advice. You're a professional jerk off who used to write for Men's Health. You say your show's a comedy show, but yet there's no fucking comedy. It's like, what the fuck? It's a troll show. They troll. It's not comedy. It's trolling, and trolling ain't comedy. That's why fucking Elon Musk found that shit out. You know, it's like he's like, why does anybody think I'm funny? Because you're not being funny. You're just being an asshole troll, and you think that's funny because you're an asshole. It's pretty simple, really, put together. It's like it's. Who the fuck is Greg Gutfeld anyway? That's what I'm saying is these people are all concocted in some factory where they make these douchebags and then pop them out like robots. There's Greg Gutfeld. There's fucking Jesse Waters. There's fucking Will Kane. Like, who the fuck are these people? And why should I give a shit what they think about anything? They're propagandist talking heads. They're created, like I said, in this sphere that they have. Like, we need a jerk off. We need a real asshole. And read Greg Gutfeld. Like, hey, I think you might be the guy. He's like, yes, I am an asshole. Give me a microphone. I will say asshole things all day. It's like, dude, clever about it. It's not comedy. He's like, oh, this is hilarious. Like, they got cat boxes at schools. Like, that's not even true. Again, they make shit up. They're trying to, I saw a thing, it was some congressperson or some Congress somewhere was trying to pass a law against some internet conspiracy like the cat box thing. That's not even true. They think it's true because, you know, people have fallen for it. Joe Rogan said it before. Other people have said it. You know, then they realize it's not true, but it's already out there. Once it's out there, the internet never goes away. And some asshole, they go, oh, look, Joe Rogan even showed me, said that they have cat boxes. What? It must be true. You know, it's not true. Never was true. And no, elementary schools aren't transgendering your children. It's like these things don't happen. But yet they get away with saying it. It's unbelievable. Like there was I saw a thing the other day. It was a story about a trans person who was running in the Boston Marathon or some shit. And it was like, the headline was like, trans runner who beats 200 and something women, you know, or some, I can't remember the number, but it was some ridiculous number. Is to get a medal, you know, and then you start looking into it. And it's like, this person finished like medal, you know, and then you start looking into it. And it's like, this finished like a marathon, right? So this trans person finished like 1,100 or some shit like that. And so to say that she beat 200 women, there's all the women that came in after her, right? So 1,000 people beat this person. And the medal they were going to get was just a medal that they give everybody that runs in the Boston Marathon. It's not really a medal. But that's how they twist stories. They say, oh, this trans woman beat all these women. And they're like, no, she finished 1,000. Which means, yes, people finished in front of her and people finished behind her. So they just say, oh, the ones that finished behind her, she beat them. Like, but the headline makes it sound like she won the race and she's gonna get some kind of medal for it. And it's wrong because she's a trans person, and it's like, it's not even real. It's an invented, made up thing. That's what they do. That's how the culture war is perpetuated. Because when you really look into these things, most of them aren't true. They don't happen. Like the fencer, they made a big deal about the fencer, right? The fencer took a knee and said, I'm not going to fence against this trans person, right? And everybody was like, oh, look, she's standing up for it. She's making a big deal out of it. It's good. It's great. But then you come to find out this person fenced against actual men. And she didn't care about it's not a real thing. Yes, they invent a fake narrative to perpetuate their bullshit story. That's what I'm saying. It's like, you didn't mind fencing a man 2 weeks ago, an actual man. And now you're saying, I can't fence this trans person because I might get injured. It's like, no, it's all performative art. For a political agenda. It's very easy to see through if you're not a fucking moron. But for some reason, like I told you, there's a lot of fucking morons. And they mostly outnumber us. So that's their audience. And it works. I told you, I got in a big argument, well, not argument, a debate with Martina Navratilova, the famous tennis player, on Twitter for a whole day. We were going back and forth, and it wasn't, like I said, a mean or anything. It was like we were actually having a debate. But I was saying, I don't understand why you're so hung up on this and why you can't see that, because she's against everything else. She's against the fascism and all that shit. And I'm like, don't you see that the fascists use this to distract you from why they're doing their fascism? And you're on here helping them by promoting this part of their agenda, and it's like, it's not even real. This is a true fact. There's more people in that El Salvador prison right now that they sent down there than are trans athletes in the whole fucking country. Now however you feel about should a trans person play sports with the women or not, or however you feel about that, that's irrelevant at this point because it's not even a real thing. There's like 100 of them total across all sports. 500,000 athletes. I think it was even smaller than that. I believe that they were. The number was actually 10. There's 500,000 NCAA athletes, and trans athletes 10. But yet he signed a whole executive order and all this shit because they have to make you think that this is a real thing. Because that's how they distract you from, like I said, what's really going on, which is they're selling out the country for millions and billions of dollars. And all this culture war shit is just a distraction. And to keep people divided and arguing with each other over ancillary bullshit that really doesn't matter. Because if you're focused on this, then you're not going to be arguing about, should he or should he not be taking a fucking $500 million jet from a terrorist sponsoring country. Which shouldn't even be a fucking conversation. But yet, we're not even going to have that conversation because you're over here arguing about, I said, the 10 trans athletes and should they play in sports. Or what's another bullshit? That the immigrants are eating cats and dogs. And, and that, that we have to clear out the Smithsonian Institution because it's really ideological propaganda to teach the history of this country. We have a place down here on the river called the Underground Railroad Freedom Center. I was telling when I went to the Reds game yesterday, which is where I got this shirt. And the Freedom Center is next to the stadium. But I told my dad, I said, I'm waiting for the day when they come down for that. Because they're going to come for that. They're going to be like, you can't have this museum for slavery. That's DEI. Or whatever they call it, you know. It's just an excuse to get rid of people they don't like. And replace them, like I said, with drooling nut lickers that'll do whatever they say. You know. So you said, like, that's what Trump likes. He likes people that don't talk back. People that do whatever he wants. And when you have this discussion, because I see what you're doing, people always say that, but you don't watch this show enough because then the people go, are you a fucking fan of Democrats? No! No, I'm not. It's like, I'm not a fan of any of these fucking people because look at where we're at. This whole fucking system is a shit show. It does not work. It hasn't for a very long time. And I said, we're at the very end of the part where you heard a noise in your car for a long time. This is the part where the fan actually comes off and your engine comes apart. That's where we're at now. That stage of what they call it, late stage capitalism, where, you know, the whole system is eating itself and all that's left are a few people at the top and a bunch of people underneath. And soon they'll start building walls to keep us out. Because they keep driving the fucking country like this. There's gonna be a lot of angry fucking people about. They can't, they're hungry and shit. Then becomes a problem when there's only 25 people that have all the fucking money. I believe that to be the case. Now, like I said, what stage of that we're in, I don't know, and I don't know how long it'll take. I'm just said before, I'm glad we don't have fucking kids. Because I would want to tell a kid, well, you know, good luck. Everything's falling to shit all over, and you know, soon bread will be $10 a loaf because of the tariffs. It's like, good luck. I'm checking out. I was born at just the right time, just a window to slide in and watch it all slowly unravel and come apart right in front of your eyes. But I'm old enough that I probably won't be here for the worst part of it. And I said, I don't have any kids to tell them good luck. I'm glad, because the future don't look too bright to me. And I've always been an optimist. Or tried to be. Because, again, like I said, you go, oh, this fucking sucks. Who's going to save us? Democrats. What? They're not going to save us. Chuck Schumer's going to write a strongly worded letter. That's going to fix everything. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? And then, I don't know if you follow any of this shit, but the Democrats, they suck, right? And then so they were like, we need to get some new blood in here. So they elected David Hogg and somebody else. And then David Hogg started putting some ideas out there. And then they were like, we got to get rid of this guy. He's like, well, here's some ideas how we could maybe change the party. And they were like, oh, man, this guy's got to go. I was like, all of a sudden, they're like, oh, we found a technicality in the vote. Yeah, remove him from office. Just like they did to Bernie. But Bernie would have been president. The whole world would be a different place. If Bernie Sanders they would have put Bernie Sanders up instead of Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders would have became the president, and this country would be a better place for it. But what happened? The Democrats fucking stabbed Bernie right in the back. they took it from him because, as I said before a long time ago, the Democrats made a dirty deal. Hillary Clinton was going to be the president, and Barack Obama came along, and they were like, "Hey, wait a minute, this guy is the guy. He can't lose. Look at him. Listen to him talk." They're like, "You got to step down. You got to step back. You got to let Barack Obama be the president, and we promise you that when he's done, then you'll be the nominee." And she said, "Okay," like a good soldier. And Barack Obama became president for 2 terms, 8 years. And what they didn't see was the populists, the social democrats that Bernie represents, are a stronger force in the Democratic Party than they want to admit. But they never gave him a vehicle. Well, Bernie, here comes Bernie. Well, they didn't see that coming. And everybody was like, "Hey, we like Bernie." And he was with it, and they're like, "Oh, Bernie's going to be the nominee and not Hillary." And they made a backroom deal. And they fucked Bernie over, and they gave it to Hillary. And what happened? She lost! Because she was always a bad candidate. She was always going to be a bad candidate. You're talking about somebody who'd been in politics their whole entire life, and there was a whole machine that was built just to hate on her and tear her down her whole life. So there was so much built-in hate for Hillary Clinton that she was never going to win. But they didn't see that. They were like, "Oh, we made a deal." And that's why they suck. And they also turned their back on all the people like me who would be Democrats if they hadn't done that. This is exactly why we're not Democrats. It's like, because they suck. There's never been a party that represents me. Never has been. The 2-party system doesn't represent everybody. You're forced to make a choice. And you go, "Well, these guys are more aligned with what I think, and so I guess I'll go with them, but I don't agree with all of their shit," That's almost universal if you ask people. They go, "Well, I'm not really for, dragging off people to El Salvador prison, but, I also want tax breaks, so I'm a Republican." And I don't like poor people or immigrants or whatever. I think they're freeloaders or whatever these people say. But they go, "I don't agree with everything they're doing, but I'm riding with them." And it's just like the rest of us. We're like, I'm a pretty socially liberal person. I grew up on food stamps and as a poor person, so I know what it's like. And people need these programs. Kids need free lunch, or they wouldn't fucking eat. And that's a horrible place to live. I don't care who you are. If you think the kids who, just because they're poor, don't deserve to eat food, you're a piece of shit. Human being. There ain't no doubt. I mean, you're an asshole. Ain't that kid's fault his mom's poor. Most of the time, he even has to be born into the world. Like I say, it's probably that kid who was born to the brain dead woman that they forced to have a baby, and then they go, "Well, now you're on your own, kid." It's pro-life. That's what they call it. You can't be pro-life and against free lunch for children. And if you are, again, you're an asshole. So there used to be things that we could all agree on. And because our society's become so polarized that even the things we used to agree on, we can't agree on anymore, Like most people when I was younger, some people would be like, "Well, I don't know about welfare, but free lunch for children," they'd be like, "Oh, yeah, you gotta have free lunch for kids." It's like, because you're in fucking what kind of society says they want to feed hungry fucking children just because they're poor, But you got to go to school and watch all these other kids eat, but you just sit here. That's really going to make you fucking, study hard. No, that's what I'm saying, Jesse. We could all agree on things like that back in the day, but now I said they're like, nope, they're gonna cut all these programs. It's like we gotta have $1 trillion military budget. Really? Yeah, we gotta build a lot of prisons, put these immigrants in there, so therefore children got to starve. But you can't have an abortion. It doesn't make any sense. And also this whole thing, how the right wing's like, we ain't got enough babies. We need to have more babies. But at the same time, they're cutting all these programs that would help these babies. So we can have a bunch of babies and half of them starve to death. like there was back in the day, it's bring back all the diseases too. That's what they're doing. It's like, don't get vaccinated. Some of these kids will die from measles. Some will starve to death because we ain't got give them no food stamps or free lunch. The ones who survive, they're tough. It's like, it doesn't make sense. That's how you grow alpha males, whatever they call themselves. The old alpha male incel who hates women but can't understand why he can't get laid. There's also the dirt poor kid, homeless at times, etc. If you're a human, it should be a human right to eat, get health care and a roof. Yes, Juliet, it should. It should. But that's fucking communism. That's what they... What do you mean everybody has health care and the right to eat? Some kind of communist, I say. Dude, like I said, I don't give a... At this point, me and Danielle were talking about it the other day on this show. At this point, if you could look at what's happened and you can objectively be like, oh yeah, this is cool. Well, you're like, the director of health and human services is going, you shouldn't listen to me for medical advice. Well, who in the fuck? Who in the fuck are you going to listen to? You're the director of the Health and Human Service. If we can't listen to you for medical advice, who the fuck are we listening to? It's off the rails. It's like, this is so bad. All you can do is laugh. It's like, dude, we're bringing it all back. We're bringing back measles and tuberculosis, dysentery. We're gonna bring it all back. He was swimming in the fucking sewer water like the other day. This guy, he eats roadkill and swims in sewer water. It tells you shouldn't listen to his medical advice. Well, I fucking do that already. He says, oh, I'm gonna find the cause of autism by September. Like they haven't been trying to find out the cause of it the whole fucking time. Yeah, Jesse, the measles. There's more cases than ever. It's still growing. But see, that's what I'm saying. If you turn on these media, it's like, dude, they don't even talk about it. They don't even talk about it. They're talking about, was Joe Biden old and declining in his, it's like, yes, we all do it. It's like, yes, he was an old man. It's like, can we move on now? He's gone. Well, no, I still live in the past because they want to talk about the future of the present because it's so fucking bleak. Yes, measles, my friend. And tuberculosis, too. I was in Kansas. But they got that under control, I think. But the measles, no. Because if you don't know this, the measles is one of the most contagious viruses there is. Someone can go into a room with the measles and can leave that room. And you can go back there like 8 fucking hours later. And you can still get the measles. Because it can live on surfaces and shit for a long time, for hours and hours. Like some viruses die real fast. You know, like if you come back, 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, it's dead. You know, it's some just half hour or whatever. This motherfucker, 8 to 10 hours. So that's why it spreads so much. And why you have to get people that have it, you got to get them into a quarantine real fast because they don't touch nothing. Yes, it really is a measles. Ain't you seen the pictures of it? You want them? Well, they just cut the lab, so whatever was in there, I'm sure it's gonna fucking come out now. There ain't no one watching it. They got dozed. That's what I'm telling you, man. This whole thing is... I wonder how far we're going. I mean, we're barreling down a hill pretty fast with shit on all sides. I don't know about that. I think everybody's too obsessed with that lockdown shit. Like I said, the simple answer is usually the real answer, which is no one knew what the fuck to do. You know. They didn't lock down the whole fucking world on a fucking, like people are 6 feet away. Wait, 8? So, no, wait, 4. It's like they don't know. They're throwing shit against the wall. Like they're like, well, we gotta look like we're trying to do something, but we don't know what to do. And I don't know about you, but like I said, that whole period was rough because it's hard to get laid from 6 feet away, man. I guess you just stay over there and you stay over here. We'll both masturbate and look at each other. It's like it's a bad time. It's a bad time. They didn't know what to do. I said, but in Vegas, they shut the whole place down. I never seen anything like it. We used to sit on my balcony for a whole year. Lights were out. Las Vegas was empty. You could go downtown and walk down the street. It was like a zombie movie. There was nothing. No cars. No fucking lights. You could see it was just a bunch of empty fucking buildings. It was creepy, really. And very quiet. Very silent. It was like, dude. Fucking weird, man. It's definitely weird. And everybody during that time sat in their house and cooked their fucking brain on internet propaganda, whatever your flavor is. And they all came out fucking nuts. That's the whole world went nuts. And that's what we're dealing with now. Like, as I said, the aftermath of all that. Like I said, a bunch of people frying their brains in the internet black holes. Whatever their choices are. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. As usual, I love every single person that watches this show. And thank you, Jesse. This is your first time. Hopefully you watch it again. I do this show 3 times a week at 6 o'clock on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And a lot of Saturdays I have Danielle Bolelli with me, who's the host of the History on Fire podcast. And if you don't know what that is, please check that out. And hopefully Danielle will be here on Saturday. And we're going to talk about... Julia, what you were talking about earlier, what we might be able to do after this is all over, but I mean, fuck, there's a long way to go. Right now, we gotta just think about riding this out. Anyway, I'll be back on Saturday. I am Bruce Leonard. This is Bruce Leonard Leans Left. While it's still legal, and it's still legal, and hopefully it will be on Saturday, and I'll be back at 6 o'clock. Thanks for every single person for watching this show. I do love you. Please be safe out there, and I'll see you on Saturday.
I do not want to